Hey guys, we are in the basement, and today we're going to do part number 4 of the Time Pilot restoration. That's right, this will be the 4th part in the series, and actually the last part where we're actually doing restoration work, because today we're going to be finishing up the Time Pilot and bringing it down in the basement. It will not be the last video in this series, because I'm going to do one more video after this where we actually play the game and enjoy the fruits of our labor. So anyway, why don't we go out to the garage and let's get working on Time Pilot, because we got a lot to do still, and let's wrap this restoration up. Alright guys, here is where the Time Pilot stands, and if you remember in the last video, part number 3, we installed the high score save kit, and I've been playing actually quite a bit out here, and I've gotten some pretty decent scores. Check it out, I've filled it up. 105,400 is my best score yet. I have yet to make it to the UFOs. I'm so close fighting the jets, but anyway, I'm pretty happy that the thing is still saving high scores. Okay, so let's talk about the marquee, because if you remember in a video, in the initial video, actually the second video, we discovered that the marquee was pretty bad, and it had some serious holes in it, and for whatever reason, these Centuri marquees don't seem to last. The ink just kind of flakes off on it. Not sure what to make of it really, because my gyrus actually had the same issue. And so in the mail today, this showed up from Milestar at videogameparts.com. That's videogameparts.com, and he is a dealer of just original parts, and he sent me a message on klov.com saying that he has a new old stock Time Pilot marquee. He's not positive if it's a reproduction or if it's original. He said, let's just call it reproduction, because he's not sure. I actually don't know, and he doesn't know, and I really hope that this is an original one, and we're going to find out when we remove the paper from this side. And let me tell you something, it's not going to be easy, actually, because assuming this is original, which I want to believe, this paper is 20 years old, 30 years old, and it's on this plexi big time. Because basically, the plexiglass would come in giant sheets, and it would have protective paper on probably both sides. And when they were printing it, they would remove the paper from one side, do their silk screening, and then leave the other side with the paper and ship it out, because the paper protects the front of it. The problem here, though, and I've experienced this before, is that, well, the glue and everything that's holding this paper on is very, very old, and it just does not want to come off. So this is actually going to be a real bitch to get off. And like I said, I've experienced this before. I bought a new old stock Pac-Man marquee one time, and it had the original paper on it. I spent, I don't know, at least an hour trying to get the paper off. I tried everything, Windex, water, Goo Gone. It just would not come off. So we're going to try something new today, because Rich at This Old Game recommends using Naphtha on the paper, and he says that this chemical you could put on here safely. It will not harm the ink on the other side if you happen to get it on there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to wipe this down with the paper towel. We're going to let it sit, and I'm hoping that this paper just falls off, because honestly, I don't know how else. I mean, we'd have to sit here with my fingernail for like 30 hours trying to get this off. It is like so on here. So we're going to try the Naphtha. So why don't I set up the tripod and let's give this a shot. Okay, we have the tripod set up here, and also Naphtha is a type of fast-drying thinner for oil-based paint, enamel, and varnish. It's basically a paint thinner. I actually usually buy this because I sometimes will thin that Rust-Oleum oil-based paint that I use when I paint black. So that's why I have this on hand. This can be a little tricky to find in the stores. Actually, I just bought it at Home Depot. You know, it's like $6. I don't know what it is. It's in the paint department. So okay, let's what we're gonna do here is I want to actually wet a paper towel. And we're gonna wipe this whole thing down with the naphtha, and then we're gonna let it sit, I think, for 5 minutes. I've actually never done this before, so we're gonna be doing this together for the first time, and I'm just gonna soak the hell out of this paper towel. And you don't wanna smoke when you're doing this. I've already gotten it everywhere. So I'm just gonna go ahead here and wipe this down. This is already looking pretty good. It's already looking pretty promising. Now, I'm a little nervous here that I kind of drip this all over, so I'm going to wipe this up real quick. Because you really shouldn't get this on the ink side. I know Rich, who is a printer, says that the naphtha will not harm this side, but I'm just going to be extra cautious here and just make sure we got none on this side. Because actually, I'll tell you, when I was trying to get this paper off of my new old stock Pac-Man marquee, I did get goo gone on the ink side, and maybe it was goof off, I don't remember what I was trying, and it started peeling the ink off, and I basically destroyed the marquee. So, but it has been said from a printer, who I'm going to trust, that this stuff is safe on the inks, but still, let's not take any chances. And I'm just going to go ahead and wipe it down one more time. This stuff evaporates pretty quick, actually. I wonder if I should just kind of start peeling it right now. See if we can get it off. Yeah, not really happening here. I want this stuff to kind of break down the glue in the paper. Holy shit, this is on there. It's starting to come off, actually. I wonder if I should get a plastic. You know what? We're just going to go for it because this is not going to come off. Yeah, it's working. So I'm a little hesitant to get a plastic. I'm a little hesitant to get a plastic scraper because I don't want to scratch the front of it. I'm actually getting excited here seeing this. Okay, so I'm gonna let that sit then, probably for at least 10 minutes. And before I let it go, though, I'm really nervous about getting it on the ink side. So it's probably okay, but I'm just not gonna take any chances here. So I'm gonna let this dry. I'm actually gonna put it up here so it's not touching the table. And we're gonna let that just sit for about 10 minutes, and then we will be right back. Okay, we're back. I let it sit for about 10 minutes, and actually most of it here evaporated, which is interesting. But so let's give this a shot here. Actually, I want to correct myself real quick because I bought this from Milestar at Arcade. His website is arcadefixit.com, not videogameparts.com. I think it used to be, though. I don't know, but I just went online and videogameparts.com goes nowhere. So it's arcadefixit.com. Okay, so anyway, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this. This is a basically a squeegee that I use to apply side art, and I'm going to use this as kind of a scraper here, and it's actually working. So okay, so let's talk about what we're doing here. These marquees are silk screened, and they use an ink. And as time goes on, the ink starts to lose its adherence properties on the plexi or on glass. And there is a way to actually kind of keep it on there and prevent it from coming off any further. And I use this all the time. And the problem is actually more, it happens more often with glass marquees. You actually don't see the paint coming off on plastic marquees often, but since this is kind of a crappy job here, I think that we should probably do this because it's going to just stop any more degrading. It's going to stop this from degrading any further, and it's going to basically seal it. Now, this is the product here. It's called Krylon Triple Thick Crystal Clear Glaze. You can buy this at Walmart. This stuff works wonders, especially on glass marquees. And we're just going to throw a couple light coats on here. It is like a transparent material, so it doesn't really affect at all the translucency or the colors of the marquee. And there's all kinds of different methods of using this, especially if you've got loose, flaky paint. You could put like saran wrap down, and you can actually spray it first and then put saran wrap down over the loose paint, and it'll kind of hold it down. You'll see that problem a lot on pinball back glasses, where you've got these huge flaking pieces of paint. On my Kicks bezel, I actually restored the whole thing by spraying the whole thing with Triple Thick and then painting the back of it. So maybe we'll do some video like that in the future. I just don't have that project right now. I guess we could maybe touch some of this stuff up, but I think we're just going to leave it alone. So you want to make sure your surface is clean here. And I feel like there's a little bit of residue over here, like gluey residue. You know what? Give me a second here. I want to just kind of wipe this down and clean it because I don't like how it feels. Okay, we're ready to apply it. I just kind of wiped it down and made sure it was nice and clean. I did it off camera, so we're just going to hit it with a couple coats of this. So this will be the first coat, and pretty simple stuff. We're just spraying it on. Not going to go too crazy with it. And I'll just let that sit, and then I'll probably come back in a few hours and hit it with the second coat. And now I don't have to worry now about the paint flaking off any further because we're kind of putting this durable skin over it. Okay, so that's it. We'll let that sit, and why don't we move on? Okay, guys, here we are the next day, and I had all the Triple Thick has dried, and so we're done here. This is nice and protected, so we don't have to worry about this paint flaking any further or ever again or getting scratched because it's very durable here. So definitely I recommend this Triple Thick, especially on glass marquees. Now, the marquee's not perfect, but it still looks a lot better than it did. And I actually had to go to Ace Hardware and get this cut down because this thing was a little bit too wide, and so I brought it to Ace, and I had the guy take a 1/4 inch off of it, and it actually worked out great. So there's these little plastic channels that go on the left and the right, so I'm going to throw those on there. And I think the next thing we're going to do here is I want to start putting some of the metal pieces on the control panel and on the top here, and these have all dried, and I think they turned out actually pretty nice. And if you remember in the earlier in the video, or actually in the last video, they were just completely rusted, and so we hit it with the semi-gloss paint, and they look really good actually. So we're ready to put the metal pieces back on. Actually, before I do any of that though, I really do want to clean up here. So I'm going to get some Simple Green and some paper towel and just really clean inside here. Get all the dust and crap off of here. You could see it's pretty dusty. So let me set up the tripod and let's get this stuff done. So I turned the game off. It's probably a good idea to do that if we're going to be spraying some liquid up here with the light fixture. So I'm just going to go ahead and just spray. And, you know, it's really important to me that I clean the hell out of these games because I don't want these filthy, dusty crap in my house. So I usually go a little overboard with the cleaning here. But look at that. I mean, that is disgusting. So And really, you'd be surprised, you know, what a good cleaning will do as far as, just making the game look that much nicer. Simple green and a paper towel actually go a long way in a restoration here. Okay, now that it's all clean, we're ready to install the metal bracket that goes on the bottom here. And if you remember, I took all the bolts that were holding that bracket in and I painted them all to kind of restore them and make them just look a lot more pleasant because they were just rusted like heck before. So let's go ahead and put that bracket on. Okay, we have installed that bottom bracket. I can't install the top bracket yet because I actually repainted it. I didn't really like how it turned out, so I'm redoing it. And I say don't be afraid to redo your work if you don't like it the first time around. So, all right, here we go. Get this bad boy in here. Stupid panels. So when we get the top bracket done, then we'll go ahead and secure this in here and. But for now, the marquee's on, and it's starting to look like a real game here. So I think what I want to do now is I want to install the hinge and the brackets on the control panel. So why don't we go ahead and get set up to do that. Okay, we have two brackets here that attach to the control panel. One is the hinge that goes on the bottom here, and the other is just kind of like this little trim piece that goes like so. So I'm just going to go ahead and just secure these all down with screws and the carriage bolts and the nuts, and then we're ready to then permanently install the control panel back onto the game. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we have all the brackets on, and now we are ready to permanently install this back on the game here. And so let's go ahead and do that. Out. And this hinge is actually screwed to the game, so... Okay, control panel is all installed back on. I want to double check I didn't jar any of these wires off of anything and everything's still connected, and it looks like it is, and it just kind of leans in here like so. There we go. Oh, probably should make sure the wire harness is in here. Okay, so that's all done, and it looks pretty sharp. And okay, so what should we do now? You know what I want to do? This coin door down here is actually bothering me, and we're gonna strip it and restore it. And because it's not perfect enough for me, so we're gonna take it out and take it apart, strip it and paint it. And this should be really the last big thing we got to do here. So. I'm going to go ahead now and start removing that coin door, and it's just basically undoing all the bolts on the inside and pulling it out and unplugging the harness. And actually, the first thing I had to do here is get this coin door out, a coin bucket. So this was like the little bucket that would catch the quarters, and it probably had a cover over it and a lock maybe, but the quarters would just fall in here. It looks like it might have had a cover at one time. So let's put this to the side. And so there are 4 nuts that are holding the coin door on, and there is one plug, and we're going to have to undo it. We're going to have to get the plug off of here. It's actually screwed to the wall there, so why don't I go ahead and get my screwdriver, and let's, if you could see in here, come over here. You can see that the harness for the coin door is screwed to the wall here. So we're just going to come in here and unscrew that. And now we can unplug the coin door and get it out. And the coin door is free now. We do have a ground wire that we're going to have to remove. That's over here. I'm just going to go ahead and pull that out. Okay, so now we're ready to just kind of unbolt the coin door, so let's go ahead and do that, and be right back. Alright, the coin door is out, and it actually looks like someone kicked it. I can see like a little bit of a bow in there. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to pound that out. That's like the whole thing is like concaved. I never even noticed that. So to take the coin door apart, it's actually pretty simple with this style coin door. This is a coinco. Actually, coin controls is different. This is a coinco coin door. And these are actually pretty easy to work with here. The first thing I want to do though is I want to remove it from the hinge right here. So we've got 4 screws. So I'm going to get a small standard screwdriver, and we're going to go ahead and just take it off the hinge, or take the hinge off the frame, basically. And we just got these 4 standard screws that we have to deal with. And I really wish they weren't standard. I hate standard screws. especially when I'm dealing with... I'd rather just use my little cordless screwdriver, and now I got to deal with these. Let me see if I have a bit. Maybe I can expedite this process. I'm too lazy to turn a screwdriver. Damn it. All right. Let's see if we can get these guys out. All right, we have the coin door frame off, and now we need to get kind of the guts off the coin door, and it's actually not hard to do at all on this particular coin door, because it's just a couple screws, a couple nuts, and the thing should just fall off. So let's get our nut driver here, and they are 11/32, and basically on here there are 2. Actually, one's already missed. Oh, I took it off because of the ground wire. So we've got, it looks like, I think maybe just one more. So let's go ahead and take this one off. Yep, and that's it. So and then this thing just lifts out like so, and we've removed all the guts now from it. And then we're gonna take all these plastic pieces off. I'm gonna clean these up, take the spring off, and then these actually come off on the inside. And we'll put those over here. We gotta get this old lock off, because I don't have the key for it, and so I don't want it. And we'll replace it with one of my locks. Okay, and then these little flaps come off. They're screwed on actually. So let's take these screws off right here. Every coin door is a little different. On some of them, these little flaps just fall out as soon as you remove the thing covering it. This one's not the case. And we're gonna have to do the same for these coin door chutes. So let's pull those off and we'll paint these parts separately. And then let's go ahead and take off these. These are the little trim pieces for this, and we'll pull those off. There's actually a lot of parts to this, isn't there? Okay, the only other thing here, those are fine. I can. All right, so what I want to do though, I do want to take a hammer to this and see if we can straighten it out. So I'm going to take a rubber mallet and I'm just going to pound this side to see if we can bend it back, because you can see there's a bit of a concaveness to it. So let me get my rubber mallet, which is right here. And we're gonna put this on the ground, and I'm gonna just hit it. And I think it's better on the ground. So let's go ahead and go like so. And I'm just gonna kind of bend it back into shape here. All right, I pounded the crap out of this thing, and I think it's better. It's not perfect, but I think it's better. It might be bowing out just a hair, but I think it's going to be okay. So what we want to do now is sand this down. And actually, let's talk about the paint on here, because the finish that's on this it has a texture to it, okay? And so we're going to use a kind of paint that's called hammered finish. So before I sand it, I just kind of want to show you this, because once I sand it, I might remove some of it, but you can kind of see the texture that's in there. And so we're going to put the texture back in with the hammered finish paint. And I really just only want to paint the coin door and the frame with the hammered finish. And then the other parts we're going to just paint with that semi-gloss, because these parts were not painted with that. They have a texture on them, but the texture is actually part of the metal. It was molded into it, at least as far as I can tell. It sure looks molded to me. So, all right, let's set this up, and let's why don't we just start sanding this stuff really quick, and then let's move on to painting it. Okay, we're done, and I think this stuff's good enough. There's really no rust on this thing. I think this is aluminum. This is cast aluminum. I got all the surface rust off of here. On this, because we're using the hammered finish too, we can actually get away with leaving more on here because the hammered finish is actually going to cover up a lot of the flaws really easily. So I got all the loose rust that was just hanging out on top and on the sides and stuff. And so now we're ready to paint it. And, so why don't we get set up and get ready to paint the coin doors. Okay guys, as usual here, we're going to hit it with primer and then we'll paint it. So let's go ahead and do the primer first, and we're going to let it dry, and then we'll come back and hit it with the paint. Okay, here we are the next day, and everything looks really great. It's all primed and now ready to be painted. So let's talk about the plan here for the paint, because I have a very specific plan. The coin door and the frame both originally had like this kind of textured finish to it, almost like a hammered finish. And so what we're going to do is we're going to spray hammered finish paint on these two items right here. Now the hammered finish is a little bit different than what the original finish was, but it's kind of close. It's more close than like the pure textured paint, and really the only way to kind of emulate what was on there was to probably get this powder coated, and we're not going to do that. I'm just not going to spend the money. So we're going to use this. This is Rust-Oleum hammered paint, and we're going to paint the coin door top and frame, and then also the little flaps over there. Now the other pieces have a natural texture to them that's like actually like molded into the metal. So we're going to actually leave those alone and just paint those with semi-gloss. Now I want everything to match when we're done, because if I paint those with semi-gloss and paint this with a hammered finish, they're going to look totally different. So after we do the hammered finish, we're going to go over the hammered finish paint with the semi-gloss paint, which is going to give it a more of a black color, because this paint actually is kind of almost gray. So you'll see. So let's set up the tripod and let's hit this thing with some paint. Okay, so I want to move these parts out of the way that we're not going to put the hammered finish on. And then all of this stuff is going to get the hammered finish. I'm going to paint the back of this first. And actually, this side shouldn't get the hammered finish. I'm going to paint that with the satin. So let's do these two sides here. And this paint's great, though, because it really hides imperfections in the metal. So you don't have to do nearly as much prep work with the hammered finish paint. And I'm probably going to do maybe 2 or 3 light coats. Spurts here, I'm not happy about that. You can see these little droplets in here. Alright, so let's let this dry, and then we'll come back. Okay, we are all clean here. I vacuumed, I simple greened the living heck out of the inside of it, and I feel pretty good about it. Definitely looks really clean in here. God, you can see that's actually kind of bad. Can't really see that unless the light hits it just the right way. You can see that the original paint that was over this vinyl or something is starting to kind of peel a little bit, but if you really have to hit it with the right light to see it. What do I do about that? I don't really want to paint this. But anyway, everything looks pretty clean here. You can see that original coating or paint, whatever, is just kind of coming off in places, but it looks pretty damn good. I mean, you really have to look to see that. So we're all clean here, and now I want to kind of move on and clean. I'm actually probably going to have to go back in here and vacuum again because there's like little remnants that I dropped when I was cleaning, but looking good here. Okay, so the one thing I want to do right now is I want to clean this artwork. This is the original cardboard artwork, and it's in pretty good shape, really. But it's dirty. You can see there's some surface dirt here and dust. This piece and also the black bezel that goes over the monitor. So I'm just going to take a paper towel with some simple green, and I'm just going to clean this very carefully. I don't want to really wet it. You know, I just kind of want to spray some simple green on a paper towel and then just wipe down the cardboard. I think that's going to be pretty safe to do. So let's go ahead and do that. It is fucking hot out here. Alright, so we're just gonna, let's do one piece at a time here and get this out of the way. Alright, so I'm just gonna spray a little bit on the paper towel directly, and then we're just gonna kind of wipe this down. And look at that. And we want to just be careful. We don't want to over moisten this cardboard when we do this, but you can see it's starting to take a little bit of the ink off, so I don't want to get too aggressive here. Just want to get the grime off here, because you could see it's filthy. And yeah, that's looking really good there. Alright, just trying to decide if I should do it one more time or not. I don't want to risk making it worse. It already looks better than it did. Colors are actually kind of popping here. So I'm just going to go over it one more time with a very light amount of simple green here. Yeah, it's starting to take some of the ink off, which is bad. Okay, I think that's enough there. We're gonna let that sit and let it just kind of dry off, but it looks way better than it did. And then we're gonna do the same here with this other piece. Let me kind of move this out of the way. And this piece, same deal. I should probably clean the back side of this piece also. So let's go ahead and actually clean the back of this. I don't want to put dirty parts back on my game after cleaning it up, you know. So we gotta do this. Yeah, this side isn't too bad. Okay. And on this black piece, we don't have to be as careful because there's no printing. And if you remember in the gyrus video, we actually had to remake this piece. And this is the piece that goes directly over the monitor. And it kind of hides the monitor frame and all that crap. But it's filthy. Damn. Okay, I'd say that's pretty good. So we're gonna let that dry, and we're still waiting for the coin door to dry. So we will be right back. All right, guys, the paint is all dry, and we're ready to put the coin door back together. But let's look at the finish here. It looks pretty damn good. So what I did is I sprayed this piece and this piece with the hammered finish paint. I let it dry, I put a second coat on it, and then I went over it with the semi-gloss paint to give it a more of a black finish, because the hammered finish paint is actually more grayish in color. So we have a nice even color. I think it looks really good, actually. It's interesting, though, that the finish turned out a little more textured than hammered. It's pretty close to the original finish. It's in the ballpark. It's definitely going to do. When we put it on the game, you're never going to really notice or think about it ever again. And then these pieces I hit with straight semi-gloss paint. So you can see there, these are a little glossier than that, but I think it's going to be just fine once we put it back together. In hindsight, I think I might have hit this with the textured paint first and then put the semi-gloss over that, but it does look, yeah, it looks fine. It's going to be just good. So, and then our little bolts here to hold the coin door, their heads are all painted. I did clean up the plastic inserts right here. I just took these apart. These are the where the 25-cent things light up, and I just took them apart. I took the original inserts out here, and we're just going to go ahead and put this all back together and get the coin door back on the game, and my God, we are getting close. Okay, so to put the coin door back together, it's basically the reverse of how we took it apart. So I'm going to start by putting all these parts on here. These are all held on by these tiny little screws. Actually, I have this backwards. This, no, that's, no, these have to go in here. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? I gotta say, that turned out pretty nice. And that looks really sharp. So let's keep going here. So we're gonna have to screw these guys down, and we need to put the flaps. I think those are supposed to go on the other side. Alright, so we're ready to put the little plastic insert pieces here. When you put them in, you just got to make sure you get the labels in the right direction. So you can see here, this is the only direction it can go in with, let's see. Yeah, it goes just like that. So that's up. So we're going to go ahead and put our little 25-cent. These are actually in really nice shape. A lot of times I'll replace these, but these are like brand new. I'm not going to touch them. On the Gyrus Restore, I did replace these because they were all faded and beat up, and I put in some Centuri ones. And I'm not going to do that this time because the original ones look so nice. So we just kind of put that on there like so. Okay. And then we'll do the other one the same way. Pretty simple stuff. Looks like there was some tape over these at some point. I tried getting that off. It's a little cloudy. Okay, so when you put these in, they go in from the back, like so. And I did wash these all up, so they're nice and clean. But you could see, that's really looking sharp. Alright, so now what I want to do is I need to get the big giant piece that goes over this. And there should be some springs, which are right here. And these are going to go over that. And I appear to have these in backwards. Whoops, that one's upside down. Hang on. The simple stuff. All right. There. They're all the right way. Okay, so we're going to put these springs back on here like so. And now I want to get the whole giant mech part now. We're going to put it over it and then screw it down, and that's about it except for the hinge. So this is going to go on here like so. And there's a little channel on the bottom here that's going to sit into. And then we're going to just let it find its natural resting spot here. And let's just double check that all works. Okay. And then really you just put in these two screws here, two nuts. One here. I think that's the wrong nut. Hang on. I've got all these random parts in here. I think it's actually one of these locking nuts. And it is. Okay, that's it. That's all on. These coin doors are really nice because it's literally one nut, actually two. This nut right here we're not going to put on because the ground wire on the cabinet actually goes on here first, then we put the ground wire, the nut over this. But this coin door literally comes apart with two nuts, and then all the mechs just slide off. And by the way, let's talk about this here, because these are the coin mechs right here. So when a quarter goes in, when you put a quarter into the game, it's going to pass through this part right here, which is the coin mech. And there's all kinds of different coin mechs out there, and let me show you. We could pull it out. It looks like this tab right here, we're just going to lift this up. Come on. There we go. So that's the coin mech right there. And you'll get, often I'll buy games with the coin mechs missing. And the coin door will look like this. You know, so if you drop a quarter in here, nothing's going to happen. It's just going to come down here and just fall into the abyss. So this device right here is actually the coin mechanism here that basically validates the coin that you put in. This is the thing that's determining if it's legit or not. And you'll have different types and different size of coin mechanisms that are designed. Some of them are designed for tokens. Some are designed for quarters. And there's also different size token mechanisms. Some, I'm assuming this one's set up for quarters. And basically what a quarter passes through this. If it feels it's not a legit quarter, then it sends it back through the reject area, which is, what happens here? Because it comes down, I think it actually drops out to the side here, is what happens. And then if it's good, then it lets it through, and then it goes into the coin bucket. Actually, it'll then trigger this switch down here. But this is a plastic coin mech. This is I don't know what brand this is. I think this is one that a lot of people like, this particular one. Let me show you some other kind of coin mechanisms that you'll find on these coin doors. Alright, so I just grabbed a bunch of other coin mechs off my shelf here, but there's all kinds of different mechanisms to validate the coins, different brands. They're all pretty much interchangeable, and they'll all pretty much work in any coin door. It seems like the operators, they kind of had the one they like and they trust, and they would just buy a ton of these and put all of these in their games. And if they use a very specific size token too, they would order them for a specific token size. But this is a HAP one here, and basically when you push the reject button here, it's hitting this. You're actually causing this mechanism to move to release the coin to the side here, and then it'll drop it down the reject chute. So pretty neat, huh? So let's put this back together. And CoinMechs are actually pretty easy to install on a coin door. This one's just held on by pressure with that little metal piece right there. Get it into the slot here. Okay. All right, so we're ready to rock here. I need to install the frame on here, onto the hinge, and then we're ready to put the coin door onto the cabinet. So why don't I go ahead and install the hinge? It's like 4 screws onto the frame. Okay, that's it. We're done. The coin door is officially done, and I think it's breathtaking. It really does look good. I mean, that looks sharp as hell, man. So we're ready to put it on, and it really does look good. It looks brand new, and that was just with spray paint. Not bad. All right, so let's go ahead and put it in the game. All right, so the coin door goes on just like we took it off. Pretty simple, really. It's just 4 carriage bolts and nuts. And we just gotta kind of get it into position here. Make sure the cords are out of the way. And just like so. And let me get our carriage bolts, and if you remember, these are the ones we painted. So it's going to look nice and finished here in the front. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the carriage bolts in and tighten this guy down. And then we'll have to make all of our connections because the coin mechs are all unplugged right now. I mean, we have the game on free play, so we really don't need the coin mechs, but we should still plug it back in together. All right, and so let's open this up and we'll tighten it from the inside here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tighten this thing down, and we'll be right back. Okay, we have the coin door all secured here, so now I just want to make all my connections. If you remember in the earlier video, we had all these ground wires here, and we do want to reattach these, and one went to the control panel and one goes to the coin door, and so I'm just going to go ahead and reattach them. They had it originally like all wrapped around this, and I'm not really going to go crazy about it because I want to be able to undo this again if I ever need to, but we're just going to go ahead and remake these ground wire connections. It's not a bad idea to do it. You know, having a good ground is important for all kinds of reasons. For safety reasons, for functionality reasons. You know, the DC here and all this, it needs a good ground with all these you know, buttons and joysticks and all that stuff. So So we're just going to tighten this down and then do the same thing with the ground connection on the coin door. Okay, so that's that, and then I'm going to go ahead and make the ground wire connection at the coin door, which is this wire right here. So I'm going to do this real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, and then the last thing I need to do is just plug in the coin door harness, which is going to make all these connections work, including the coin door lights. I mean, even though we have the game on free play, we still need to make this connection so we get power to the coin door so we have the lights light up. So I'm probably going to have to go in through the top here and make this connection. Okay. Alright guys, well, guess what? You know what? We're pretty much done. We're done with this restoration. So all I need to do now is just kind of put all these other pieces on here and we are completely done here. And are you excited? So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to go ahead and put the bezel, the cardboard bezel, and all the two cardboard bezels on the monitor. I'm actually going to clean the monitor first because I don't want to trap dirt underneath this because I've been working in the garage, you know, so even though I cleaned it initially, we've got new dust and dirt on there. So I'm going to go ahead and clean off the monitor glass, and then we're going to go ahead and put the cardboard bezel on and all that good stuff. So this is exciting. One thing I do want to point out here is that when you're cleaning glass, use Windex. Don't use the mean green or simple green. Just trust me on this because it doesn't come off. It just does not come off the glass. And I've accidentally grabbed the simple green and used it to clean my monitors, and it's not fun to get off. It's almost like oily. It's hard to describe. It's just, it will not come off. So we're going to clean this off real nice. And then we're going to get our cardboard parts and lay them over here. So let me go grab those. So the first piece that goes over is this one. Now, I'm going to try to get away with not gluing it down here because originally it was glued. And I'm going to see if it'll just kind of stay in place, or I might... I'm hoping that it just stays in place with the bezel when we put that on, the plexi bezel. So this goes here, and I'm guessing, does it go, yeah, it must go like that. Okay. All right, and this was originally, had double-sided tape on the bottom here holding it in. I removed all of that, and so that's gonna go like so, right? And now we need to get our art piece. And then our art piece goes over this, like that, okay? And that looks pretty damn sexy, okay? I feel like that's wrong. I think this needs to go behind. Okay, so that falls in there like that. Okay, so now we need to clean up our plexi, so let's do that real quick. Okay, so we're just going to spray this down with Windex and wipe it off with paper towel and see what happens. The thing about plexiglass is that you can use a product called Novus 2. And there's actually Novus 1, 2, and 3. They are plastic cleaners. They're kind of abrasive, but they're used to get scratches out. And they work pretty well. I've had mixed results with them. But I'm hoping that this plexi is in good enough shape that we don't have to, and actually it is pretty nice. There's a big, is that a scratch? Oh, jeez. There's a big key mark in it over here. That's not good. So let's go over here and let's throw this guy in here. Okay, just like so. Looks pretty good. All right, guys, that's it. We are now officially done with the Time Pilot Restore, and you know what? I'm pretty damn proud of it. I think it looks pretty awesome, really. So now the next thing is to get this into the basement and add it into the lineup, and unfortunately, you guys probably aren't going to like what's going to happen here, but a game is going to leave, and this game is going to replace it. God, look at this coin door, though. Seriously. Look how great that looks. That's like one of my best coin doors ever. Anyway, it's all ready. It's ready to go down, and I can't wait to get it down there. I just need to put the back door on, which I have over here. Thankfully, this time around, I got the original back door. For whatever reason, sometimes I get these games with no back door. So we're going to put that on, bring it down, and that's pretty much it, guys. That is the Time Pilot Restore, and we are now officially done. And so the next video that we do in this series will be a gameplay review in the basement. So, all right, well, I hope, I want to thank you for sticking with this little restore series. And you know what? Now I need another game. I need something new to restore, so I'm going to be on the lookout. So anyway, guys, why don't we go down to the basement and let's wrap this up. All right, guys, there you have it. That was part number 4 of the Time Pilot Restoration. I hope you guys enjoyed that series. Stay tuned for the gameplay video, which will be coming next week. And by the way, the game is already down here in the basement. That's right. The game's down here, and you're probably saying, John, how did you get the game down there? You had no room. And unfortunately, I had to make a sacrifice. I had to sell one of the games to make room for Time Pilot, and it was a very tough decision. And I decided to sell Discs of Tron. I know that sounds like crazy talk, but you know what? If I want to keep things fresh down here, I'm going to have to let stuff go here and there to get new blood and keep it interesting for me and my visitors. So it's gone. And Time Pilot's here. It looks good. It's in the corner here. I might rearrange the basement and put something else in the corner. But for now, I just put it in the spot that Discs of Tron was in. The game's working great. It looks great. I've been enjoying it. My friend Ted came over here the other night and put a killer score on here. He put like 170,000. So I have some work cut out for me there. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching this Time Pilot Restoration video series. Stay tuned next time for the Time Pilot gameplay video. And then I'll probably be releasing a video sometime midweek here coming up. So, by the way, if you've never subscribed to my little channel, now is a great time to click that subscribe button. I release new videos at least every Sunday, and now sometimes in between. And so click subscribe, and you'll get a little alert when my videos are uploaded. And also, check out my podcast, Video Game Outsiders, at videogameoutsiders.com. We do that podcast every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern live on All Games at allgames.com. So just go there on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, allgames.com. Press the play button, and our show will come through your computer speakers magically. And there's also a chat room, too. You can click on the IRC button and chat with all the great people that are listening to the show each week. So, all right, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Later.